Talk about a team that travels well. You see a lot of K-State fans out there right now. But coming up just behind them, the APS Volunteer Clown Troupe. It's a merry bunch of clowns, all volunteers, spending their time traveling the state of Arizona, bringing smiles and laughter to just about any event. Walter is the world's largest Volkswagen bus. You see him right there. Started his life as an airport fire truck, believe it or not. Began that service in 1963 right at Luke Air Force Base in the Valley. Then Walter leads a group of local mutant vehicles that can do anything from shoot fire to host an entire concert with light and sound. You can learn more at facebook.com/WalterTheBus for details. And it's great to see so many of these folks who take part not only in their community, but representing their company as well, and going out into the community and just spreading some good cheer and volunteering for so many needy efforts in our valley.
Yeah, and this is something that, at home may have felt smaller. That is a huge bus that's just gone by. Let's move on to the Wells Fargo Stagecoach, a living symbol of the American spirit. Merchants John Smith and Charles Stearns opened the first Wells Fargo office right here in Phoenix back in 1877.
Yeah, one of the oldest companies in Phoenix, and of course a rich tradition with the Pony Express, and really one of the first businesses here long before Arizona was even a state.
Speaking of first, some of the first few horses you've seen along today's parade route, but there will be about 130 horses walking in today's parade, so keep your eyes out for them.
Let's head on to the Folklorico Lindo y Querido, the group dedicated to teaching culture and keeping kids off the street. Folklorico Lindo y Querido means beautiful in Spanish. This year's performance is dedicated to the 19 who fell in the Yarnell Hill fire. So great to see so many different cultures and really reflecting the diversity of our community out here as well. So many different groups represented, young and old, volunteer groups, people really celebrating their heritage from Native American to Mexican American and everywhere in between.
Yeah, the dress is just so beautiful as well. You're seeing the Fort McDowell Fire Department there from above, and the Tribal Nations response team as well. And what you also hear is all the applause from the stands as they march by. The Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation Fire Department has proudly served the nation's members since 2000. The Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation Fire Department and Tribal Nations response team want all of you to enjoy a safe and sober holiday season, and they encourage you to say no to drugs. And you're seeing just beautiful smiles on their faces as they march up to the huge response coming from the crowd here right now.
A special applause for those guys, because whenever you see somebody in those types of firefighting outfits especially, you're reminded of the sacrifice that they make, something that we were all reminded of course, on June 30th of this year. Let's move on now to the Fort McDowell Cradle Baby. Check this out, big balloon. It's coming to us from the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation. The smiling child helping us celebrate the spirit of the Southwest. She's floating about 20 feet above the street. Quite a few handlers as well, keeping it in check. Good news here, of course, is we've got quite a few balloons in the parade today, and the weather relatively calm, because those can be kind of tough to handle, as we've seen with the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. It's good to know that there's not too much work for them today.
Exactly. 18 balloons in total along the parade route today, as well as 9 floats taking part as well. Grand Canyon University is coming up next. It's their 5th consecutive year participating in the Fiesta Bowl Parade. We welcome them as well. The GCU is celebrating their move to D1 athletics this year. Made huge headlines, their inaugural season in the Western Athletic Conference. GCU's float theme this year, Double Trouble in the Southwest. It represents the friendly competition between GCU's mascot, Thunder the Antelope, and the new head basketball coach, Thunder, Dan Marley.
Yeah, just getting started in the Western Athletic Conference, and a lot of folks looking forward to that big move. It is a big move to move up to Division I basketball and be competing in Division I athletics, but you can see from the spirit of these folks that they are ready.
Tickets are pretty reasonable too. Just $5 is where they start. You can find out a lot more information as well on their website, which is gcu.edu/Thunder Tickets. All the information's there. It's just a whole new ball game out there, so a lot of fun to go check out.
And let's listen in. Coming up next, the POW-MIA-KIA Honor Guard, formed under the command of David Carrasco in 2008. The group consists of former Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps members. They've chosen Honor Guard to post the colors for the official dedication of the new USS Arizona Memorial that took place, of course, on December 7th of this year, honoring those who have served and sacrificed, and of course those that we lost on the Arizona during the Pearl Harbor attack.
You know, earlier we had asked the governor what city was her favorite city in Arizona. A tough question to answer as governor, perhaps a little bit easier to answer when you're the mayor of Phoenix. Your answer is probably Phoenix. So let's go downstairs and check in with Amber Sullins now, who is catching up with Mayor Greg Stanton. Amber?
Yeah, I'm here with the mayor. He found the rowdiest group over here to go give high fives to. They're loving this parade, and you grew up here. You were a kid right on these streets in Phoenix. How does it feel to now be basically in charge of the city that you love?
Well, first off, this is a great tradition of the city of Phoenix. I grew up here in the city of Phoenix. I actually volunteered at many festivals growing up. It's a great, great Phoenix tradition. It brings everyone together. This parade, a perfect day. The country is watching us. They see it's a great community that comes together to put on spectacular events like this. And of course, people are excited. How could you not be excited on a great event like this? Thanks for covering it, Channel 15.
Oh, yeah. We absolutely love it. I have memories of this parade, too. What is your fondest?
What's my fondest memory of this parade?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, just sitting in the stands with my family, eating chips, and just cheering on those great bands. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. So who are you rooting for in the festival this year?
Oh, let's see. How about a great game? Yeah, no particular rooting interest. Two great teams, and of course, in a couple years, we'll be hosting the national championship right here in Phoenix. Super exciting.
So what are the preparations for that?
Massive. We're going to throw the best party that we can to make sure that we show the world that Phoenix, Arizona, our region, can host Super Bowls, national championship games. The top events that the world has to offer can happen right here in our community. We're great, great hosts.
Love it. Thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Amber's putting these politicians on the spot today, asking them to pick their favorites when they probably don't want to choose. Certainly not in either one of these games, because you see so many of the fans, of course, from both places. And, of course, as well, so many people who have moved here from other parts of the country who are, of course, fans of some of these games. They get to go to the game right in their own backyard.
Oh, and it's just been so nice, as we mentioned, too, and welcoming for those along the parade route to sit and enjoy it, and also those marching in it. As we told you earlier, 3,600 steps to take part in this. So folks really have to get ready, carrying the tuba, or as you saw a little bit earlier, carrying the cheerleaders along the parade route.
Indeed. And if you want to join in on all of the experience, you can go on to social media right now. You can use hashtag Fiesta Parade on Twitter. And of course, we want to take you back out to the parade route. Next up, of course, the Fort McDowell Adventures 2013 Tribal Royalty. They're all part of course, this traditional hay wagon that's a glimpse into the unforgettable experience of Fort McDowell's 24,000 acres of pristine Sonoran desert lands provided by Fort McDowell Adventures. And riding on the hay wagon are the 2013-14 Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation Tribal Royalty. That includes Miss Fort McDowell, Junior Miss Fort McDowell, the Fort McDowell Veterans Princess, Visiting Arizona Tribal Royalty. All of these women, of course, regally represent the finest of the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation and their tribal youth leadership, and they're selected based on their knowledge of traditional values, their academic achievements, and moral character to serve as models for all of the youth of the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation.
One of the beautiful 18 balloons in the parade, you see it coming now, the Fort McDowell Traditional Doll. This traditional doll balloon comes to us from the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation, and this little girl smiling down on everyone along the 2-mile parade route. She is, for those of you at home, 18 feet tall and has 16 handlers that help her move there along the parade route down Central Avenue.
Just a beautiful sight for all of the little kids out there. I mean, when you're a little guy, 18 feet looks huge. Looks like the biggest thing you've ever seen. And right behind him, we've got the Phoenicara Classics Car Club. They're a car club with vehicles ranging from the years 1936 to 1954. For trucks, they go all the way up to 1959. They're a community-oriented club. They have various events throughout the year. A lot of charity drives and community parades as well. All these cars have been built and, lovingly restored by the members themselves. always amazes me to see that some of these cars, you know that somebody found this somewhere behind a barn and it was covered with rust, and they spend months and years sometimes putting it all back into its original order. They look for parts all over the country and in some cases modify it, but it's always a great show and a great look into the past, especially for the little guys.
And there are so many great car shows all across town. If you're interested in cars at all, or just like looking back at some of the fun, distinct models out there, hundreds of car shows throughout the year. A lot of people even still gather over at the pavilions in Scottsdale on the weekend to see some of those cars, and it's neat because it's fun for the folks who have fond memories of these cars, and also the young kids who are just seeing them for the first time and just experiencing some of the great colors and the great design and the neat tricked out things like this car. You saw it bouncing around before. It's just fun for the kids to see. There it goes. And you hear the cheers.
Yeah, hard to imagine what it must be like to tool down the parade route in some of these beautiful vehicles. But thanks to those ladies and gentlemen from the Phoenix Classics Car Club for bringing them out today. Vintage Rolls Royce you see right there. Just amazing. He's got the parade vehicle pass. I'm thinking he probably doesn't need that, though.
Yeah, we know where you're headed.
Yeah, if you show up in a car like that, they know where you're going.
Yeah, it's too cool to see some of the cars around town before and after the parade. You know exactly where they're going. Let's take you to Yuma now, but courtesy of right here in Central Avenue, Kofa High School, the King's Regiment Marching Band. The parade program selection here we're going to listen into in just a moment, but first the band director, Dan Schwiesler, and the band assistant director, Josh Holsom, drum majors, Elsa Madrid and Hector Sainz. You see they're wearing that brilliant crimson and white. The King's Regiment Marching Band prides themselves on their band motto, which is create the tradition, strive for excellence. Let's listen in. Big Red has joined the parade route, doing a handstand while walking along Central.
Of course, a lot of folks have the game on their mind as well. There's Baxter from the Arizona Diamondbacks, who's apparently commandeered Amber's microphone, and of course the Phoenix Suns gorilla as well. Lots of our sports teams, of course, represented out here. A lot of people thinking about the game tomorrow against the 49ers. You never know what's going to show up when you're out there on the parade route as well. Let's take you out to the next float now that is from Playworks. It's a float built by the Pride Group.
First, Baxter's getting a little wild there in the stands.
Yeah, you don't want to work with kids, animals, or sports mascots,
all right, no
I think.
Control.
Yeah,
Lose control of the broadcast.
They are going to take over it no matter what with the way they just relate to people. It's wonderful to see. There's Sparky, of course, as well. ASU doing very well in football this year, playing in a bowl game, and took it all the way to the Pac-12 championship game, so good for them.
Yeah, it's been so much fun this year. And we take you down to the parade chairman now, Jay Spector, with his wife Bethany and son Micah and their daughter Jordan there waving to the crowd. He joined the Fiesta Bowl in 2011 and has volunteered for Wells Fargo $1 Million Hole-in-One, the hospitality, and the chair of the 2013 parade. So we appreciate all of his efforts this year as well.
And let's take a look at the Arabian Horse Association of America coming on down the way now. They're presented in their traditional Arabian native costumes. They carry their ancestry of great versatility and stamina. Arabians are champion performers in virtually every type of riding competition: English, Western, trail, dressage, endurance, and reining competitions. Some beautiful horses here coming down, and you can just see how majestic they are, how they really carry themselves on down the parade route.
And they just sparkle in the light of the sun here as well. We have our guests of honor, our grand marshals of the parade now, the families of the 19 fallen Granite Mountain hotshots. And this year's grand marshals we're joined by the 20th member, Brendan McDonough. The 19 fallen Yarnell Hill firefighters were members of the Granite Mountain Hotshots, as you know, who we lost on June 30th while battling that 8,400-acre fire that ignited just south of Prescott.
And we had a chance earlier to speak with Brendan McDonough just about what this parade means to him, what it means, all of the honors and accolades that they have gotten from the community. Let's listen in.
As months go by and days go by, I still feel the same amount of support as I did as, that night coming home on June 30th. So truly blessed to be able to be here and just seeing so many people trying to make us happy and help us out. It's fantastic.
Support for the firefighters' families. And if you'd like to make a contribution, you can visit www.prescottffcharities.org. That's PrescottFFcharities.org. So many of these, the widows of many of these guys, their girlfriends, we've had a couple of babies born since the Yarnell fire. They're moving on and trying to support their families, and it's good to know they're getting so much support from the rest of the community.
You're seeing the people in the stands rise to their feet as their car passes as well to show their support. And they were chosen because we just want to remind them that their husbands, their fathers, their sons, their brothers are Arizona heroes, and they really just will not be forgotten.
All up and down the parade route, too, you're seeing a lot of people wearing the Yarnell 19 pins, these pins that we have on here today as well, with many of our ABC 15 crew. Many folks just want to find some way to pay tribute and to let them know that even 6 months after this tragedy, and of course for years afterward, we're not going to forget about them. We're going to support them no matter what we have to do to make sure that their service and sacrifice is always remembered and always counted as part of our community.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see everyone rise to their feet. Let's take you to the Navajo Nation Band, who we hear approaching and now we see approaching as well. Their parade program selection, Main Street America. Their band director, Darwin D. Jackson, and their drum majors, Laura Begay and Gary Holstoy. The Navajo Nation Band is a traditional military-style band. They're complete with banner carriers and color guards and the twirlers who you saw, and also Miss Navajo Nation, Miss Natasha Hardy.
You can see many of the traditional colors reflected here in the Navajo Nation Band as well. 4 sacred colors of the Navajo culture, east being white, noticeable with the pants there, south being turquoise, west being yellow, and then north being black with the shirt tops that you see there. 4 sacred colors as part of the Navajo Nation.
High in the sky and spinning behind them there, at least 10 years now in the Fiesta Bull Parade, the U.S. Airways balloon serving more than 230 communities in the U.S. and Canada, Europe, the Caribbean, Latin America. U.S. Airways is proud to once again be the official airline sponsor of the Fort McDowell Fiesta Bull Parade. Leading the way are crew members of the DEW Crew, U.S. Airways Corps of 3,500 employee volunteers. And flying above the sky, that plane has a name. It's Dewey, the DEW Crew balloon. The Do Crew has invested more than 25,000 hours of volunteering for nonprofit organizations in our community just this year. U.S. Airways' commitment and passion for making a difference is never too far from the ground, no matter how high they fly. Give them a shout out if you like online right now on Twitter at U.S. Airways.
Well, I think Baxter from the Diamondbacks has given Amber her microphone back.
Just
She's
now.
out there talking with some of the folks in the crowd. Got to be a great show for them, Amber.
Oh my gosh, they're loving it. And right now, right in front of their faces, are all their favorite superheroes. So George here is totally stoked. George, who's your favorite?
Iron Man.
Iron Man. All right, I saw Spider-Man too. That guy is Thor. Yeah. All right, you guys, who's your favorite?
Okay, my favorite is the K-State band.
Okay, right.
My favorite,
All the Avengers are here. You guys, this is too much fun. I'm going to do the high five line too. Are you ready? Woo! You guys, we're having a blast. I'm running into superheroes. Back to you.
Yeah, our thanks to the Justice League of Arizona, by the way, and the Arizona Avengers. The guys in the costumes today, they go all over the community volunteering for various organizations and bringing a little cheer to the kids. Good to see your favorite superhero walking down the street.
Yes, protecting us as well. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.